family. How are you guys doing today on this beautiful Sunday? I'm here by myself, of course, reading my word. My son is out and about doing his thing, so at least it's nice and quiet in here for me. I like that. And I'm just thinking about David. Let's talk about David today. You know, David, the first thing that comes to mind with me for him is that God said he is a man of his own heart. That's it's little words put together, but I'm sure it means a lot. A man of my own heart. Exactly what do you mean, Lord? I'm still thinking about that. Okay. Now we know that God is perfect and does no evil. He does no, he's everything and everything. He made everything, he is everything. So what is he talking about? David is a man of his own heart. That's gonna be a question mark. If you guys can answer that for me, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. So anyway, David, as beautiful and wonderful as he was, and how much God loved him, that's wonderful. He was rotten in some ways, wasn't he? How he, betrayed his own wives with Bathsheba. I know that back in the day, they could have many wives, as many as they could afford. And that's what I heard. It's not nothing I read. I heard that they could do that back in the day. So I've got some more studying to do as to how and why God allowed that. But anyway, they do that. So they had all these wives. David had lots of wives, but when he saw Bathsheba on that porch bathing, of course, he was attracted to her. It turned him on, so he decided, let's find out who this is. And he goes and he's the king now. So he goes and he sleeps with her. That wasn't hard to do with him being the king. So, but then and she told him, no, sir, I'm married, you know. But what could she say? She's living in his kingdom, and he's the king. So he did what he wanted to do. That was that. Now, meanwhile, this lady was married to Uriah, and he was a soldier for David, one of David's soldiers in the army or in their, clan, in the army. And he really respected David. He loved David. He wanted to please David. So, but David not only, slept with Uriah's wife, he had Uriah killed so he could have his wife. So Uriah's wife would accept him to be with her and to sleep with her and to impregnate her. Because she was having a problem with, no, Lord, no, my master, not while I'm married. And so he made sure he took care of that thing. So that's something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I think about that when I think about David. And I think about how he was chosen when Samuel went to his father's house and God chose him, among the brothers. And how, he was like the smallest one, I think, the baby, the youngest brother out there tending the sheep. And, the people at that time thought it would be one of the older brothers because they used to do things by, hierarchy back then. The oldest brother would get the first and the second brother and the rest. But, they kept putting the stones out to see which one it would be, and it was none of them, And so we come to find that it's David who God wants to be the king. So, put all that in perspective, and it's like, oh, Lord. So if David is a man of your own heart, God, and he did wrong, and you're no respecter of persons, so can you forgive us our wrongs? Will you forgive us our wrongs? Yes, if we ask him. Now, let me say this. David, did some tricky stuff, but he immediately went back and asked God to forgive him. He repented of that. And he went back, and it's like, Lord, please, I repent of that. Please make me whole again. Make me wipe my sins away. He knew when he was doing wrong, and he went back and asked for repentance. Asked for forgiveness and repented. Sometimes we don't do that. We think we do it. We say we do, but we don't really do that. Because when you repent of something, you're turning away. Look that word up. It's a turning away. You're going to not do that again. You're turning away from it. You're going the other way. Not just stopping for a minute, and next week you might do it and then ask for forgiveness again. Not saying you can't get it. I'm just saying. It's turning away. I've decided that that was wrong. I'm so sorry for that, and I'll never do that again. Please forgive me. That's to me, that's repenting. Um, and so David did that. He repented, and God even gave him the woman back. He even let him keep the woman. Because remember, David said, "Lord, whatever you do, I know I got to pay for this. I was wrong. But please don't take her from me." And God said, "I won't take her from you, but the first child you have will not survive." So you see, there's a consequence for what David did. He's not no different than nobody else. You got to pay the consequences. Thank you so much, everybody, for your comments down here. Let me see what's happening. What happened? Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay, Becker. I'm fine. I'm still learning this, so I might have just clicked off, and not know what I was doing. Um, so we have Patrick Stojak. He says, take the mask off. No, not now, Patrick. I will soon, though. I will soon. And why do you have the mask? I have the mask. Let me be upfront with you guys. I have the mask. I have a lot of dental work I need to have done. And I don't want to get on and look like Sally Clown or whatever, But when I get it done, I'll get on and I'll be beautiful to you guys. I'm acting stupid, but that's all it is. So I've got a few missing things that I have to wait for my teeth to be fixed, and they're very expensive. So when they're fixed, I'm gonna come on, okay, without my mask and everything, okay? Is that good enough for you guys? That's an honest answer. But meanwhile, when I go out though, I still wear. I wear it sometimes, even when COVID was in 2020. I kind of still worn it because I don't want. I don't know what's going on, but when you go in crowded places, I think we should wear them. You know what I'm saying? I tell my son the same thing, and he has perfect teeth. But I tell him, when you're in a crowded place, like shopping or something, it's not a bad idea to put one on. Because we don't know what's coming back, what's happening with that COVID thing. But I'm not wearing it for COVID. Because I did get my shots when COVID came around. I said, Lord, I got to get my teeth fixed, and it's going to cost me so much money. So let me go on, because I want to go on and talk to your people. And so anyway, that's why it's there. But we're talking about David. So David, um, he did these things, and God still loved him. You know what? I think about people like that who do horrible, horrific things. Like, who I want to come, when you hear about Dahmer and these crazy people. The woman who drove off to the lake with the babies, two babies in the back seat. Just what's going on? And I hear those people, but you know what? I love my God, because as long as hi, hello babies, how you doing? How you doing? I can't pronounce your name. Fredericks or Fredericks. Hello guys, how you doing? Well, we wonder about these people. My point is this: that no matter what we've done, if we repent and come to God, He'll take us. He'll take us back. He loves us. He made us. He created us. Okay, so He loves us. It's a part of Him in every one of us. Every one of us. It's a part of Him. He knew us before we were in our mother's womb. He already had a purpose for us when He dropped us in her womb from our dad's sperm. He already knew this here piece of matter is going to do this. This piece of matter is going to do that. Isn't that amazing? So He got a plan for us. We opt out with our free will to do whatever we want to do. And we still have a chance as long as we're alive to come back, which is why Jesus died on the cross for us. You hear me what I'm saying? So, anyway, I love David. And I really love him because he was so honest with God and so real with Him. And I try to be that too. Because when I'm talking to God, like I'm talking to you guys, I'll say things and it's like I'm talking to Him like I'm talking, but I'm saying, Lord, and I know He knows everything, but I'm just talking how I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And to keep my relationship fresh with Him. I want to be honest with Him. Like when He tells me to obey, He always tells me to obey. And I'm thinking, Lord, am I that disobedient? And in my mind, I must be, because He tells me that all the time. And so I said, okay, Lord, I'm trying my best to obey. But then I want to tell Him, Lord, I'm in this world. It's hard out here. It's really hard. And, and do you realize, I know He knows, but I have to say it the way I said. I said, Lord, it's hard. We got to worry about credit scores. We're worried about keeping a job. We're worried about being a single parent. We worry about, having enough to take care of ourselves, you know, worry about the families breaking up when you lose your spouse, your wife, or your husband. You got to do it all by yourself if you ever had one. You know what I'm saying? So we worry about that kind of stuff. So some people don't have to worry about that. When I go to the grocery store, I see people. This I used to work at Kroger before, guys. Let me say this. I'm gonna break and say this really quick. These ladies will come in. I love working there, by the way, because you get all the discounts. And when I ring people up, the best part of working there was um, watching that bill accumulate. And then at the end, you hit that button because they have the card to get a discount, and it goes from 212 to 148. And I just had this little thing. I would say, ding, ding. I had so much fun doing that. I loved it. So I don't work there anymore, but I still I go there because I love Kroger. But anyway, uh, how come I left that subject? What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I love working at Kroger's. I forgot what I was saying, guys. Remind me what I was saying. Meanwhile, hello everybody that came in. You know, I see these little crowns and like number one, number two. I don't know what that means. And somebody's saying we're just in your phone. I don't know what that means either. You have to work with me, babies, because I'm not really, really good at this yet. I'm looking around saying what's going on and working it. And part of working it is just getting on and doing it and learning. Okay? So if you guys don't mind, give me some comments here. Let me know what I'm doing, if I'm doing something wrong. Because I feel like I don't know what some of these comments are meaning. But let me go on. Anyway, so I love working at Kroger's. But I had to stop working there after a while because it was hurting my legs so much. I'm older. I'm 64 years old. Thank you, Jesus. And I'm retired now. I'm retired. And my legs, when I stand up on them, they kind of hurt. And ever since I had my surgery, I had surgery a while back. Praise God, He kept me. And so my legs been weak ever since then. I don't know why, because you know how they have you get up in the hospital and move around a couple days afterward. And then I did, and I was fine. I just thought this weakness will go away because I had the surgery. It's major, sort of. So okay, this is I'm gonna have to. But it's been a year. I'm like, Lord, what's going on? I need to be able to move so I can get some of this weight off. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and He's doing that little by little. And I'm like, Lord, what do I do? Because I can't just not do anything. I gotta be mobile so I can get around. So anyway, um, I love working there. And then I had to stop because of my leg. But they give you a pad to stand on when you're doing the cashiering, and you stand on this pad, and it has a little cushion on it. And on the cushion, you can relax. So as long as I was doing that, I could do that 2 or 3 hours. That standing was okay. But when I had to walk off that and go in the back for a break, or go in the back for to use the bathroom, or go in the back to do another chore. Sometimes they have a stocking shelf, something like that. When I had to do that, it was my feet and my hips, not my feet so much, my hips was like, wow. Then once I got a break, because that was a second job for me, I was also working a full time somewhere else. But that second job for me was at Kroger. So once I got a break, or say I worked 3 days a week there. Once I got done with those 3 days, I would get a rest. I would feel fine. But then I'd have to go back again for say I'd be off for 2 days and I'd go back for another 3 days straight. And there was my legs going. So I think I kind of overdid it. Because I was doing this probably, let me see, I'm 64 now. I might have been doing that like when I was 58, 59, something like that. Just to supplement my income, to get some more things paid, to be able to take vacations and things like that. Do something extra besides just paying bills. You know how that is. So, anyway, I don't know if I injured myself, but when I go to the doctors and do x rays, they see nothing wrong with my legs. They say maybe I have a little arthritis in my back, but my back doesn't hurt. But he's saying that because because it's in my back, whatever ligament in my back controls my leg muscles, that's where it's coming through. The pain is coming through there. I don't know what's happening, but anyway, I'm just praising God that I'm here, and I know He's going to help me. I'm going to get and do my chair exercises. I saw a couple on YouTube that I like, so I kind of copied it, and I'm just going to do those and just keep a positive mind and just keep telling God, whatever's wrong, Lord, we have to fix it because I got things to do. I got to get out there and get some stuff done. So until then, I'm going to be on here talking about my Lord, about different things that concern me, because it's my page and that's what I do. And I love talking to you guys and responding to you guys. I love it when I see you guys make comments and send the little stars and stuff. It's really wonderful. Um, I noticed that when I'm on live, my watch hours go a little faster. So I was having problems getting my views and stuff going. Then they start going really good when my watch hours were so low. So I'm thinking, okay, Lord, that's fine. And I only got really concerned about that when I hear everybody on there saying, oh, I'm making all this money, I'm doing all this, I'm able to buy me a car. This one lady said she bought her a car from YouTube. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And she showed her car and everything. I was like, that's wonderful. It was a BMW. Whoa. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna I'm not doing this for that. I have a new car. God has blessed me with a new car. But I do have some things I would like to do, like travel and stuff. But I really, the most what I wanted to do on here, guys, is just to talk. Because I be talking a lot at home to my son. And he, like, Ma, you told me that already. Ma, he be doing that. And it kind of hurts my feelings. Because he don't have time to talk to his mama. He's working all the time and doing his life. And I can't just interrupt him and expect him to just want to sit and talk to me because I'm retired now. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I wanted to talk and engage and do some things, and I got some things in store for you guys that I want to do that I'll speak of a little later, or maybe in another video, where I want to really engage my people, especially the older people. If you youngins want to get in on it, that's fine. But I want to do some things like some vocabulary building and some, taking some words and kind of just researching them and just building our vocabulary and our knowledge of different words and stuff. Because I ran into a word the other day because I love to read. And I didn't know what the word meant. So I looked the word up and I mean, And then I said, okay, now I'll forever know what that means because I took the time to look at that and see what that was about. I was listening to something on television and I heard that word and I said, what is that? What does that mean? And I went and looked it up. And I thought it might be good to do that in my video. Make it have a section for that. And I think I'll do that. So when you see that come out, I'm still designing it now. When it comes out, just jump in and do with us and work with us. Because it's going to be fun. We're going to be looking at different words and doing things with those words. And at the same time, building our vocabulary. Kind of like doing a puzzle, but doing it live like this. So anyway, that's one of the things I have that's coming up. And then another thing is, and I still have to do this, but I kind of want to do this in person, but I might find a way to do it here, and that is to teach basic math. I am a teacher at heart. I have a master's degree in education, and I love basic mathematics. And what I love about mathematics is it never changes. It's what it is, and that's what it is. You either have it right or wrong. There's no middle ground. And I like that about math. And I like the fact that when you teach people math and they really learn it, a light comes on. And they say, oh, that's how you do that. And I really want to teach the adults, like 18 to 25 or 18 to 35. I feel like the little kids have a lot of opportunity out there to get help, get tutoring, and get, in school to get extra help. Their parents are helping them and stuff. But people that are 18 and over kind of find a hard time going to get help with that when they need it. Sometimes they want to go into the Army, so they'll have to take that ASVAB test. Or sometimes they have to take a little test when they're going to do a job. Like if you want to work at a cash office, like those cash advanced places, they give you a little math test, a little math quiz. Certain jobs will do that. If you go to General Motors or Ford, and sometimes they'll give you a test and it'll include math. Or you're just trying to take your regular GED. It takes math for that. Now, this is the thing. Everybody won't teach math the same way I feel that I have the gift to teach it. Okay? I'm for the people who need to have constant, who say, I can never do this. So I don't know, no, you're trying. I'm like, yes, you can do it. Just follow what I tell you. You're going to do this. We're going to do this. And let me tell you what happened. Anyway, I wrote a program to do it. So once I get it together, I really wanted to do it in person because to me that personal contact where I can encourage them more and do that, I think I can do it more in a personal thing. But I don't know. I might have to, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But this is what happened. There was an old lady, older, I'm going to say. This is so long ago, that lived on my street that I was living on. And she came to me and asked me, she said, can you tutor me? Because I'm going to night school to get my GED. She was about 58, 59 years old. And so I said, okay, yeah, I'll tutor you in math. She said, because I don't get it. So we sat together. And I tutored her. I think I was about 21 or something like that. She was 58. So I went to her house and we sat down and tutored together. And she was telling me how embarrassing it was for her to ask people because people just assume or they just, people don't have time to really give you the attention that you need when you really need to learn something and you really want to know. That if you have too many questions, people will drop you. I know that. Because when I have questions about this computer or about something, because I'm not computer literate. And so when I have questions about it, I have a problem getting get somebody to sit down and say, okay, you do this, you don't do that. This is why. They don't go through, they just, oh, just do that. It'll follow you. It'll give you, no, that's not enough. I need hands-on. So that's what these people that I need to help with math need, is hands-on. So anyway, this lady, 58 years old, we got to doing the math. This lady, God rest her soul, is didn't know how to do a plus sign or minus. She didn't know what less than or equal to or greater than, or she know none about that. She didn't know how to do, she just didn't know it. She didn't know how to hold her pencil, guys. I had to kind of instruct her on holding her pencil. That was new for me because I was like, wow, I just didn't realize people don't know, that they're that basic. But at the time, I wasn't wanting to be a teacher or anything like that. I was just living my life, 21 years old, young person. So anyway, we sat down, but I always liked math, even all through high school. So we sat down together, and I was teaching her and showing her how to do it. And we'd take a problem, one problem, and we'd have to have the whole piece of paper to figure it out. And I liked that with her. And because she understood. And people say, well, why am I doing this? Why am I putting that number under this number? You know what I'm saying? And she learned from me and from God, who gave me the knowledge and the zeal in my heart to teach it, that about negative numbers. We learned about positive integers. We learned about, I showed her about circles and what they represent, and about the angles and what they represent. We learned about parallel. We learned about all these different things with her. And mostly we learned the algebra. 2x plus 5 equals 11, whatever it is. I learned, and I taught her how to figure that out and how it's not so hard. And she was like, I never can do that. I don't think I can do it. Can we just do the addition and subtraction? I said, no, we're going to do that too, but we're going to do this algebra, because she was in an algebra class. And she felt like if she could just get a D in the class and pass it, that would be fine. And she'd be fine with that. But honey, do you know, when we got through, thank you, Jesus, that woman was doing 2x squared plus 5b equal whatever. And she was working it out. She was working it out. And I didn't realize how far she had come until we had finished. And she had took her test. And she passed, of course, her GED. And she told me, she said, I don't know why you're not teaching this. You need to teach this. She said, because you have the patience and the, what did she say? I have the compassion to teach it. And I think I do now, 40 years later. So anyway, I was thinking about that. I've been working for a job for many years. In fact, the one I retired from, I've been working there 34 years. So I was thinking later, after I'd done this with her, maybe I can do something like that once I retire. And I went to my mom's house one time, and I was sitting on the porch and talking to her, and my little nephew was sitting out there too. And I was talking to her about doing that and writing up a program for that and putting it, going and getting it, looked at and try to get it, what do you call it, where you get it, you guys know what I'm talking about. You get it where nobody can't steal it. You get it done. And I did that. I can't remember the name of it now because it's all tucked away. But, what's the word going to come to me in a minute? But I went and got that done so it could be mine whenever I got ready to work on it. And I was talking to my mother about it. My nephew was sitting on the porch. This is how it goes to tell you how God works sometimes. And I'm thinking, I said, Ma, I don't think I could do that because I'm in my 40s now. And I don't know if, it's too late. And people doing stuff on their phones now. They're doing things on the phone. They don't really want somebody to teach them basic math and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't think I could do it. And plus, I've been at this other job so long. I just want to go and get my pension. I don't want to, miss out on that. I've been here already over 10 years. I'm just going to work it out and get my pension. And I'm just too old now to do that. And my little nephew, he's about 2 years old at the time, says, no, you're not, Auntie. He said, you can do this if you want to. He said, you can do this. And I'm looking at him like, wow. First of all, he didn't talk a lot, so that got my attention. But you know how they say out of the mouths of babes? So anyway, when he said that, it took a couple of years, but I started doing it. And I was tutoring younger kids, like 7, 9, 12, like that. And it was going okay. I went to the library and I was tutoring them. And it was pretty nice. I would charge a certain price for that. I made up I drafted up a assessment test to have them take before we started, so I know where they are, and to put, so I could find out what their expectations were, what the parents' expectations were. The parent had to sign the agreement, along with the child, and we would study together. And I think I helped a lot of children. probably 10 or 12 children to start with, and then I started getting random calls back, and when I stopped to tell them, well, I'll call you back. I'm thinking I'll do it again, whatever, and I didn't get back into it. But what I didn't like about that, I did like it that it was helping the kids. What I didn't like about it is some people, they want you to be a babysitter. I don't want to be a babysitter. I want you to bring your kids to me, leave them with me for the 90 minutes that we're going to do the study, and then come and get your kids. I don't want to be a babysitter. I don't want to be a taxi driver. That's not my part. I want you to come get your kids. And I think some people thought of it like, well, can you just drop them at home? And I was like, no. At first I thought, oh, that's not a problem because some of them live near me. But I was thinking if you start doing that, it's going to be something that they're going to expect you to always do. So I said, nope, don't even start it. And I felt bad sometimes about that, but I had them come get their kids. I just had to wait a little longer at the library with them for them to come get them. So I was like a babysitting service almost. I didn't like that about it. So I think, and it's hard to keep their attention too, because kids are not ready really. They just feel like they're doing it because their mom told them. They're not ready. But when a person's ready to learn, that's when it's really exciting. These 18 and 19 and 20 and 30-year-olds are ready to learn. Let me tell you how I know. My nephew, first I helped a couple of them too, and they really appreciated it. Some of them went on to get their GED. This one lady was having in a nursing class, and I talked to her. She was actually one of my clients at my full-time job. And she said, you know what? She said, I really want to be an RN, but I can't because, I said, why not? She said, because I've gone to, I got my nursing class. I've taken all my classes, but I've got to do algebra and I've got to do some geometry in order to get into my nursing school. And I said, well, you can do it. She said, no, I can't. I've never been able to do math. I don't know how to do it. And so I just can't do it. I said, oh, yes, you can do it. And so we got together and she was able to do math. I said, you know what it is about math, baby? It's only hard if you don't know the basics. If you don't know the basics, that's why I like doing the basic math instruction, because if they don't know the basics, they're not going to know the upper levels of math. If you don't understand how to subtract and really what you're doing when you do, or how to multiply, or how to check your multiplication to see if it's right, or whatever, you're not going to know. If you don't know what a right angle is and what 90-degree means, and you don't know what adjacent means, you don't know what those things mean, you're not going to be able to pass that part of the math test. That's on the GED or whatever test you have to take to get a job or go into the Air Force or the Army or whatever. So I made this assessment test based on that. And I've got a lot of things in there that will tell me where they are on the math level. And then we'll start from that point with each one on a different level. So it's no competition with each other, only competing with yourself. So if you start off getting a score of 38, maybe next time you'll get a score of 46, next time you get a score of 58. And so you're improving. And that's very important that you improve. If you happen to slip down, maybe you missed a session or two, and you slip down. So now we're going to go back up until you get where you're satisfied with your math level and your math ability. And it's up to you. It's not something they can graduate from, I'm not a college, so to speak, unless God makes it that way. But I'm just saying it's just something I want to help them with so they can say, oh, I can do this. Because you know what? If they can do that, which is something they thought they could never do, what else can they do? I want them to think about, what else can I do if I can do that? I thought I could never do that. 2x plus 5b equals 19 over 3. I thought I could never do that. But Miss K helped me to break it down. So I can see now it's not so difficult. It's just steps. You take one step, another step, and you keep going. You do the same thing every time, no matter what the numbers are. The numbers would change, but the process won't change. You do the same thing every time. And when they get it, and they're looking in their eyes, guys, when they get it, and they're like, wow. And then they go thinking about something else. You know what I'm saying? They can do. That really has nothing to do with math, necessarily. But wow, I learned that, and I thought I never could. What else can I do? That's the light I like to see. I love to see that. That makes my heart go pitter-patter when I see that, guys. And so I'm going to do that. I may do it online here if I can learn to work this phone good, because I'm not good that my son helps me and his girlfriend helps me too. But I like the in-person because I get to talk to them. I get to touch them. I get to let them know you're doing great. I mean, you went from 38% to 79%. 79 is not a good percent for those who always get 100 or 98s, but it's a good percent for somebody who used to get 38. So see, I've improved. You see what I'm saying? I love that. I love that. Making people better, making them see that they can do it, that they matter, that this is important for you. It may only be for you to help your kids to do their math. If you don't have a job, if you're not going to the army, you just want to know how to do things. And I explained to them too that you do it every day in your kitchen when you measure, when you're doing things like that, when you're using a ruler in your home, you're doing math. When you're cooking, you're doing 1/3 cup of this or whatever. We go over metrics and relate them to the regular ounces and whatever from the old times. We do all of that the old way with paper and pencil. No calculator. Let me tell you what happened with the calculator. I was in, what was I in the other day? Not the other day, the other, a while back. Kinko's. You know, where you go get your copies. You have to excuse me because I'll be talking over myself sometimes. But I'm in there. I'm getting some help printing off some pages. I know how to do it now because I've been doing it so long. But I was new then. I didn't know how. So the lady's helping me. And so I went to pay for my bill on the card they give you a little card that you put money on and just put it into your copies. And I went to pay for my bill. So the boy, it was a little boy up there, like about 19. He was really good at doing those copies and doing the computer and printing stuff off and, all of that kind of stuff. But he couldn't count. He couldn't do basic math. So we're in there, and I don't know what the bill was, but let's just, for instance, the bill might have been $5.50 or $5.75, something like that. And I gave him a $20 bill. And he was in his mind doing this. I'm like, no, not a 19, not this boy that just went to that computer and did whatever I know I couldn't do. He couldn't count. Because you know why? You don't have to. He just get on the phone and do this. The phone tells him. See, the computers are telling him. And so that's what the devil is telling me. Your program's not going to be any good because it's obsolete. People just get on their phone and get the answer they want. Yeah, what happens if there's no computer? Man has to put in the computer what's in there. If he don't know it, he can't put it in there. He can't make the program if he don't know the math. And some people just need to know on their own without a computer. We didn't have computers. Like I said, I'm 64 years old. I was born in 1961. There was no computers back then for us to get on and, okay, let me see what 17 divided by 5 is. I know I'm going to have a remainder, but let me see what it is. We couldn't do that then. We had to do it with pencil and paper. You see what I'm saying? And I would like people to learn how to do that somewhat. You might not take it forever and go with it. You might eventually start using your phone again or a calculator or whatever. But I like them to know where those numbers, how they fit and how that happens before they see it on the calculator. You know what I'm saying? That's exciting to me. And so, because I think about the lady that I helped. And I think about her not knowing even how to hold a pencil, let alone write an equal sign or a plus or a minus. And then learning to do her algebra, learning what parallel was, learning what adjacent was, learning about angles and triangles and parallelograms. I think about her. And she learned all of that because she was willing to learn it. She wanted to learn it. And we made it fun. And I was patient enough, thank God, to listen to all of her questions because she had a lot of them. And I listened to them. And then I figured out, let me see how I help her. I didn't realize God was helping me then to help her. Because I don't know nothing about being patient until God showed me how to be patient with that lady. So anyway, I'm thinking now that I'm retired, that would be something that I could do to help people. Because I think if you get in study with me and you truly want to learn your basic math, you're going to learn it with me because we're going to start from the number line. You know, where the zero is in the middle, you got your negative numbers and your positive numbers. That's what I do. That's what I teach. Okay? And many people don't know that and they want to know. Some people don't. They'd rather use their calculator and they're not for me. Because I'm not going to use calculators until the end of the class. And then I'll let them use calculators. But I want them to know first what they're doing, what the calculator is doing for them, that they can do on their own. Do you understand what I'm saying? So anyway, that's something for the future, hopefully nearer than later. But that's just something I love to do. But I don't know if that's what God wants me to do. Because we have to do what he wants first. He knows I've been wanting this for a long time. I used to do this in 2014. So I have, paperwork from back then. It's 2025. It's 11 years later. I'm like, Lord, maybe that's not what you want. Maybe that's why I didn't flourish the way I thought it would. Maybe that's not what you want to do. Then I thought about some people not being able to afford to do it. But I can't afford to do it without at least the supplies. I'd be willing to do it with just supplies and them coming to me. I'd be willing to do it with no salary. That's how much I love it. But I thought about it. Now, how are you going to do that? You're going to have your car running well all the time. You're going to need gas in it to get to where you're going. You see what I'm saying? You're going to need money to buy the supplies. You're going to need pencils and stencils and erasers and paper and notebooks and you're going to need all that kind of stuff. I'd like to have a packet for them when they come and join with me. I got to have paper to do the assessment test. so I can get those ready for them to take. You need a copy machine. You need a fax machine. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully some office space. So I've been talking to the Lord about this a long time, but it hasn't flourished the way I wanted to. And I gotta say, I haven't worked it the way I should have either, because I got discouraged because of thinking about the computer system and how people just use their phones and stuff now. They don't want to really learn that basic math anymore. So I hear my son coming in. So let's see. You okay, Boo? Yeah. Okay. Hey, baby girl. Okay. And so that's where I'm at now. But when that happens, I'll let you guys know so you guys can say, "Oh, I want to be a part of it." Um, but eventually, if I can get funding for it, I will do it and have people come in that just absolutely cannot pay for it. I will just have them come in and do it as well because I don't want to discriminate. Because those are the ones who probably really need it. You know what I'm saying? Not saying the others don't, but I thought this. My girlfriend told me, she said, you know what? You shouldn't even worry about that because people get their hair done, they get their nails done, they get everything done they want to have done. So if they want to learn math, they'll come and pay for it like anybody else. So I try to keep the price as low as I can. It was low when I was doing it. I was charging them $25 for the assessment test. Then we go over the assessment test together, and then each session was $35 for a session. So when I look at the price and match it against what other tutors are charging, other tutoring services, it's a lot less. Some of the tutors are getting charging a lot more money, like $100 an hour, and I was charging 35 for 90 minutes. And I would take a break. We would do 45 minutes, let the kids take a break, about 10 minutes, come back and do another 45. So their mind stays fresh on the subject. You know what I'm saying? Giving them homework to go home, come back, answering those questions, and going to another subject. And then the way I'm doing it is what I want to um, do. Because what I do is I go from one, I don't scatter around. Like I don't do multiplication and then tomorrow fractions and then the next day percentages. I do that one subject until it's learned by that group that I'm with. Once they grasp that, then we go on to the next one and then the next one. I don't want to confuse them with the material. I want to make sure we master one subject first, then we move to the next one. Before we move to the next one, we'll do a review of what we've learned in the first one. So we know we got that one down. If we didn't get it down, we're going to go back and start that one again and see why we didn't get it down. See? And this is what the teachers at the schooling don't have. They don't have that anymore. You're in a class with 30 students or 40 students, and you're not getting it. 4 or 5 people in there have no idea what's going on. Well, the teacher just moves them along or they just fail them. They don't have time to pull them aside and say, hey, let's do this extra on this, or let's practice on this, or let's do that, or they don't do it. Or the kids too ashamed to say, I don't know how to do that. They just keep shaking their head and they just leave the classroom like they know. They don't have their homework when they come home, come back because they couldn't do it. They're too ashamed to tell either their friend or their parents that they couldn't do it, so they just fail. Now, I know that happens because that was happening all the time when I was in grade school. I just loved school, and I just, stuck with it. But I know in school it happened. And I know my nephew, who was, when I was doing this in 2014 and 15, he told me, he said, Auntie, he said, when you get your business going, he said, I'm going to be your first student. I said, really? I said, why do you say that? He said, because I dropped out. And he says, I want to go back, but I'm embarrassed because of things that I don't know. But the way you explain things and how we're going to be competing just against ourselves and our own scores to get better and better, and how you explain and how you're so patient and how you teach. He says, I want to be the first one there. He said, because I know I can learn if you are that patient with me. He said, because my teachers, they're not going to go way back for 1 or 2 students when it's 30 in the class that may be getting it. So that's where I think God has given me a gift to be patient with people and to be able to go back and encourage them as we go. You can do this. Yes, you can. If you want to do it. If you want to do it. So, and I think that I can convince them once they're there. If they say, I want to do it, that's all I need. Is for you to come to me and put your cell phone down for a minute. We're not going to have no cell phones in the class. And let's go with this. Ask me questions as we go. I used to go to work first. And I used to sit there and watch when I was first just experiencing, what I'm doing and going to places to see how other people do it. And I found out that Work First has a class that you have to go to. And there's a lady in there or several people who do math tutoring for people if they need it. So I sat in there with the lady, the instructor. She said I could sit in there. I told her what I was doing. She said, "Oh, that's wonderful." So she said you could sit in class and see what what you see, just to see how it goes. So I sat in there. This lady was a very, very good teacher. The students, though, were about, I'm gonna say about 5 of them in there, and they were sitting there watching her instruct. She was very good at it, but nobody asked no questions. That's the problem. So when she said we're gonna take a break and come back, when she went out the room and they was taking a break, 2 or 3 students were still sitting there with me. And I turned to them and I said, I didn't know what their names was, I don't remember, but I said, did you understand what she was saying? And the lady shook her head. No, a young girl, about 14, no, about 18, 19, she shook her head. No, she didn't. I said, why didn't you ask any questions? And she said, because I just figured I'll look at it when I get home, or I really didn't. I said, no, you need to, that's what she's here for now, is for you to ask questions. You need to ask questions now. When you get home, she's not going to be there for you to ask the questions to. And don't be ashamed to ask questions, because you know what? Your question, somebody else is asking the same one. And they're scared to raise their hand too. So please, ask your question. You have the same question as the person sitting next to you, and neither one of you raised your hand. And we need to know as instructors what it is you guys don't know. That's why we're here. But you got to be a participant in this. You got to help us to help you. Raise your hand if you don't know. If she tells you something and you write it down, or you don't write it down, and you say, well, I forgot, what did you say? You got to, can you go back to this part? Yeah, that's what we got to do. Because if I'm not doing my job, I'm failing you. If I sit here and let you listen to me, and then when I get through talking, you know nothing about what I said. So I got to go back and say, let's go back and start again. Where are you having trouble with this? Let's start. Let's do it again. And make it relative to you and in your time span. So some people are going to move faster than others. So some of my classes are going to be for beginners. We're going to have some for people in the medium range, and some people that maybe are more advanced, but still have some questions. As long as we're doing basic math. Okay? And so I think that will help a lot of people. If I could just market that properly and get it out there. I'd like to have some space to do it in. I don't want to do it in my home. And I don't really want to go at the library and do it. I'd rather have my own little space, but I will do it at the library if I have to. Because they do let you, not rent the room, but they section, what am I going to say? You can apply to have the room, you guys know what I'm talking about. Not rent it, but you can, what's the word, Lord, I'm looking for? This is so nerve-wracking. You can reserve the room. That's what I'm trying to say. You reserve the room. And you can reserve it for an hour or hour and a half. So, and that's what my program is consisting of 90. I like the 90 minutes. I like the 45 minutes, the break, and then the 45 minutes. And so that's what I want to get started again doing. That will make me happy. You know how you want to just make yourself happy? And that will make me happy knowing that I helped somebody else. Somebody got a job because of what we said and did. Somebody was able to understand something. Somebody took that knowledge and applied it to something else. And now they understand something else. Not related necessarily to math, but they have the energy and they have the courage to go forth and learn it because they learned math but they thought they never could learn. My mother was a perfect example of that, and my sister. They never wanted to sit down and do the math with me because my mother always felt I don't want my daughter telling me something that I don't know. And my sister felt kind of the same way. But that was sad because I don't know if I presented it wrong with them or whatever, but I don't know. It's a love for me. So I'll be getting into that probably soon because I need something to do. I don't want to sit at home and eat all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just pay bills and that's it. I want to do something that's meaningful. I want to get out there, and I think I told the Lord that's the way I want to help your people. And He's telling me to wait and listen, and I do what He said. And His plan is first. You know what I'm saying? I know I feel like it's a good plan, but I don't know if that's what I should be doing. My nephew, who loves the Lord so much, and who I've seen God bless him so deeply, told me, Auntie, you know what? I said, what? He said, God is setting you up. It's not that He don't like your dream that you want to do, but He's setting you up for something. You just have to be ready for it. And that kind of made me a little down because I feel like, but He ain't going to let me do what I want to do. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. We'll see. I think I have a different way to teach it. and to encourage and to be patient with people that they need it with their like I needed with this computer stuff. My baby girl, I call her baby girl, my son's girlfriend. She is so patient with me, and without her, I could have never done this. Never, believe me. So I ask her every question in the book, and then some on top of that. And she is so sweet to me and so patient. I know she'll be tired, and she'll be talking, saying something. I'll say, okay, wait a minute, stop right there. Now, what about this? And she'll just go in and explain that. She's wonderful. She's wonderful. So without her, and then I have some content creators who are so wonderful as well. Like, you might know these people. Pete McIntyre, you know? People talk about her, but the girl got it going on. Very, very helpful to me. Also, um, Latoya, I'm naming folks today. She's wonderful to me. And there's another girl that comes on. Oh, I can't remember her name, but I know she's a Leo. I know she's a Leo, and she's got brown, beautiful skin, and she tries out products on her thing sometimes. Like if they have a new bag of Doritos or a new kind of drink. What is her name? I don't know her name, but I love her. She's been very helpful to me. But you know who first helped me to know I could get on and do this? There was a man called Michael Allen, and he had a video called the 4C Gang. And he's kind of rough around the edges. And he's from Detroit, and he is wonderful. I listened to him when I first started looking at YouTube, and I would look at him and I was wondering about him. Who is he? What is he? And he would just sit there and eat, just eating food and showing you the food and all that. You know, I'm like, what is he doing? And sometimes he would talk about stuff, and sometimes he wouldn't. And he's got a sister he calls her Philly Phil, and she's really helpful. Been doing it before him, and got him into doing the YouTube, and she's wonderful too. But I love Michael because he was so real and so, just out there, just doing his thing, just talking. He'd get on there and just talk and eat. Sometimes he had something to say specifically, sometimes he wouldn't. And I'd just be sitting there looking at him, just listening to him. So I really want to thank all of you guys I mentioned. Some of you, I can't remember the names, but you've helped me a lot. Uh, there's another girl named Latoya Okia. I love her too. She's been instrumental because she comes on with such positive things. There's another girl named Letitia, but she comes on as uh, Wisdom Speaks, something like that is her channel name, and she is marvelous. She's marvelous. So all of these people have given me the courage and the strength, along with my God, of course, to get out here and do what I can do and try to get it done. So I encourage you all to get on and do what you want to do. It might not be YouTube, whatever it is. Do what you got to do. Okay? Get it done. We don't have all the time in the world like we think. Now, young people think, okay, I got all the time to do this next year or 40 years from now. I'll do that when I'm through doing this. We don't know. Because it's not just us older people leaving fast no more. It's anybody whose time is called and the number is up. They're going. So I encourage you to be happy. Do what you need to do, what you want to do. Hopefully, it's also what God is calling you to do. I've been told that He calls us to do whatever it is we enjoy, that's what He's calling us to do. I'm not sure about that yet, because it just depends on the person you are and where your mindset is. You might enjoy something that's not of Him, or He don't want you to do that particular thing. He wants you to do something else, which is kind of my struggle a little bit. But I'm going every day asking, and I want to be obedient and faithful so He can tell me. Because you know what? Our gift makes room for us, whatever that gift is. That means that's your living. That's how you're going to prosper. Because God says, I give thee the power to get wealth. And that's what He means. He gives us the power to get wealth. Now, don't get it wrong. The devil gives people wealth too. But he wants, in exchange for that, their soul. You heard about that. That's going on all the time. But God gives us the power to get wealth through our gifts. Because that way, we're blessing Him. He bless us, and we bless Him. When He bless us, people look at us, and they want the God that we serve. So it draws it right back to Him. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's going on there. I understand that, Lord. But anyway, guys, I'm just rambling along here. I love you guys so much. God loves you more. You know that. But I'm going to come on again and ramble some more at another time. But meanwhile, go for your dreams. Make them big and trust God. Okay? All right.